Oh no.
Alright. Okay, so money, money, money. Money. So we all know the song by oh my gosh, what's the band's name? I forgot the band's name. But we all know that song because everybody obviously likes money. So today I'll be talking to you about one issue that should be effective to the students in this room, the minimum wage increase in California. So if I were to ask, do you know today's minimum wage in California?
$10.
It's now 11 since January 1st.
Okay.
And do you know the federal national wage?
I think it's less than that.
It is quite a bit.
$8.
It's $7.25
Okay.
federally. Yeah, that was back in 2009 from Obama. But so a bill was passed, like I mentioned, in Congress that plans to increase the wages slowly and consistently in California, year by year basis. And there's been some controversies in this bill, a lot of debates, research, people foreseeing economic downfalls and crazy things with this bill. So I'm sure maybe none of you guys have heard about it. And if you have, all you care about is the money aspect for it. But today I'll discuss what the bill is, like what it states, exactly why it was created, what this means, how it compares across the rest of the United States, and those different wages, and then just both sides, some opinions, a couple sources on what both sides think. So on Monday, April 4th, 2016, Governor Jerry Brown signed a bill that would increase California's minimum wage from $10 currently in 2016 to $15 by 2022. This will be a quick, just him signing the bill with all the people loving it, and it'll be a quick way. People think it's quick, even though it's 50 cents and a dollar each year thereafter. A much too quick increase, and that will fluctuate the economy too much and cause so much downfall. And they're relating it to the recession as well. But then, of course, there are other concerns of mom and pop shops, smaller businesses that would be affected because they don't have as many employees. So to pay more to their employees would hurt them more. So any employee now, okay, this is a little smaller, so I can give this to you. Any employee, a business with 26 or fewer employees, it now has a lag of 1 year. So if by 2018, it should be $11 for most businesses. Any business with 25 or fewer will be at $10.50 as the previous year, and then next year they'll be at 11. So they'll be 1 year behind, so they have a chance to catch up and not take too much of a hit from these increases. Because the increase in that wage from $10 to $15 will increase $10,000 for a salary for a minimum wage employee. This bill will also be helping provide components for sick leave for IHSS workers. These are in-home supportive service workers. These are major in California because California is kind of a retirement state, so there are more people at home. And I have a quote that shows, from the California minimum wage workers will receive $15 an hour by 2023. From GovDocs on April 6, 2016, an IHSS worker provides homemaker personal care assistance or disabled persons who want to live in their own homes. So this is for people that don't work at senior centers or don't work for such a sort of a company who have set guidelines. This is more private based, and they're trying to correct these mistakes that they've been seeing. Another thing for the Jerry Brown signing, he signed this in a report by David Siders from the Sacramento Bee on April 5th because he said that no one who works full-time should ever be living in poverty, which for the poverty line in California, these workers who make minimum wage are 76th percentile in poverty, as in a report by Weekly Digest. Another major reason this is happening in two major states, New York and California, is because we have the highest cost of living. In this one, you can see the average cost of the average income in the United States, $53,000, and the average income in California, $62,000-ish. So a little discrepancy there. But then if you look at the home ownership rate, a lot less Californians own homes than the U.S. average. And if you want to know why, you can look down at the home value average. So in California, an average home costs about $370,000. That's over doubled what the United States home average costs. This has been a major issue because making the same wages and paying so much more for housing, utilities, groceries, all these, and taxes, all these other components have been increasing homelessness rates and poverty rates, which are making government officials very scared for the future. And another picture I have on here, this will show the breakdown throughout the states. So it shows the nations at 725. It'll show California with 11 currently, Florida at 825, and Texas maintaining the federal rate and not having their own. However, another major issue that could be affected, like I mentioned, was the economy. James Shirk's article from June 26, 2013, What is Minimum Wage? Is History and Effects in the Economy, states, virtually no economist doubts the rising the minimum wage up to even $20 an hour, then the mainland of the U.S. will have similar consequences. Economists only debate the consequences of small minimum wage increases. This shows that the $5 increase, they do believe it as a large raise, so it will actually not affect the economy as much as maybe a 20 or 30 cent raise would, because they did with all their algorithms and math and sciences, they determined that overall the biggest fear should be the loss of jobs. So on here I have another depiction. It's like for dummies. They show that by increasing one person's wages, another person would potentially lose their job, because companies, instead of raising their prices to keep profits even, they would rather have less workers that could accommodate more work. So they're spending that more money on training than on multiple employees working. So in Dave Newmark's article, The Effects of Minimum Wage on Employment from December 21st, 2015, shows it is easy to be confused by the effects of minimum wage have on jobs for lower skilled workers. Researchers are offering conflicting evidence on whether or not raising the minimum wage means fewer jobs for these workers. Some recent studies overall suggest employment could be harmed. So everyone's obviously a critic, and everybody's going to have their own debates. None of this has been proven so far. It's all been speculation in the future, and that everybody's just a critic and has their own opinion. Because even in Noah Scheibert's and Ian Levitt's article from the New York Times, titled $15 an hour minimum wage in California, this plan has many worried, state, it is very unclear how these benefits and policies will stack up near the end of the completion. Many people are already complaining that someone flipping a burger is making more money than they did at any time in their career, and now that the increasing cost of those burgers are going to go up with the increasing cost of the person flipping that burger. And so I have a quick depiction of, most people are saying that these are just older populated people that are complaining about these increases, because those who usually complain use that as their main reason. That the following trends by year show that many costs go up, and final producing costs go up as well. That the food industry and grocery industries usually increase their prices along with it. On the contrary, though, that people are fighting for these changes of minimum wage. These don't just include the teenagers who work over summer and want a little more money in their pocket. These are also people who are adults who have minimum wage jobs, supporting a whole family with 2 children, working at minimum wage. This goes around the country, but with even more devastating rates at higher populated countries such as San Francisco and New York, who have higher homeless rates than anywhere else in the world. These huge tech cities are impossible to live in, when on average someone making an annual salary of 6 figures qualifies for government aid in these cities. So minimum wage at $20,000 is not cutting it at all. Another article from March 24th from Jeannie Major from Workforce discusses that increasing these wages puts more money in the pockets of low-income workers, which in turn will put more money into the economy, since they're more likely to spend their wages. Furthermore, the income inequality will be lessened, which are all pros for the government. This is all something that the government has been shooting for. They're trying to make all these statistics look a lot better. And overall, no matter what people think, the bill has already been signed and passed back in 2016. There's been no changes to it so far, and there's been no talks or anything in the works for these changes to come through yet. The second stage has just gone through, as I mentioned, by January 1st, increasing it from $10.50 last year to $11 this year. It will continue to move on year by year. So to next year, it'll be $12 an hour average. I'm sure many of the students will notice the increase in wages if they do work this summer. I did in my first paycheck. I didn't know what was going on until all I knew was I got taxed a lot, and I was working the same hours, and my wages went up, and I was like, what's going on? So this made me want to look more into it as well. Hopefully you guys have a better understanding, because otherwise I'm sure these changes would go unnoticed for you guys. Thank you.